Hi, hello, and welcome back to, well, what is now the conclusion to Cowboy Bebop. I wanted to wrap up Cowboy Bebop, the Netflix version, for you guys before the holidays come up. I don't know if this is going to be released before Christmas. Hopefully I can get this out before Christmas Eve. I want to wrap this up before the holidays just because, you know, I kind of want to take a break from making videos, but I also still want to do a Spider-Man No Way Home spoiler discussion because that would just be really fun. But that's most likely going to happen the next week, and I know probably everyone knows some of the key things that happen in that movie, but I still want to talk about it. Like, it's just fun. It's just fun to theorize. So I might do something around that and also do kind of a Hawkeye Season 1 spoiler discussion as well in one video, basically. Anyways, that being said, I think there's probably going to be about a couple videos out for the next coming weeks, up into the new year, and then I'll probably just take a break, and I hope you guys understand. But anyways, I wanted to conclude the Cowboy Bebop season just because it's done, it's canceled, there's no plans as of now to renew that for a second season, so it would be nice to kind of just get this off my hands and to also get my thoughts. I just think it would be nice to kind of debrief and also unwind what I thought from season 1, episode 1, all the way to the end for episode 10. So yeah, guys, I'm so thankful for you guys joining me. Thank you for subscribing to me. Thank you for liking the videos and also leaving your comments down below. I've appreciated it all the way through this series, and I hope you guys stick around for the other videos that I do. And yeah, that's it. So let's get into the final episode. Language, violence, nudity, gore, smoking. Cool.
Even the people who are supposed to love you.
I do love you.
Jesus.
So you just gonna bring me a birthday gift on my birthday to my birthday party on my birthday with a birthday gift?
Happy birthday?
Christ, man. Goddamn, I did not expect that.
Because you are no man at all.
Oh, sorry, let me turn off the subtitles.
Company.
Talking through the intro for the last stinking time. Yeah, interesting. So this picks up where episode 8 left off, if my memory serves me correct. And yeah, Julia is like, yo, how did you not know we were thinging? Okay, me and Fearless, we were doing things, and you were pretending like you were being ignorant of all those things, but you still stuck around with me. What's up with that? Which is a totally justified question. My only thing is that he never really had time for Julia to begin with, so honestly having someone who's just basically arm candy for him really doesn't seem like that big a deal to Vicious. Like, why does, like, I don't know. I don't think my thoughts are coming through correctly, but Vicious never really seemed to care to begin with. He more wanted to possess Julia, and so that's what I'm getting off of this. So the betrayal in kind of the dramatic weight of what happened in the last episode, as much as I want to feel it right now, it's not like they had like a great relationship to begin with. So it just seems like he is trying to fight for what he possesses, like trying to keep some semblance of strength and power. And I guess that's what it's at loss here, is his own ego. So it's something. It's something. Anyways, let's watch. That's how it feels to do hot yoga.
Well, he's here somewhere, goddammit. Keep looking for him.
I'm gonna miss hearing Mustafa Shakir say "God damn it." He says it's so good. I just think of like Lethal Weapon when I hear him do that voice. I mean, this episode's like 49 minutes or something like that. It's kind of, I don't know, I'm having a lot of expectations, but how are they gonna culminate everything into one episode? It looks like they're trying to tie in Faye's backstory into this episode too. I do have a little bit of an issue when you can tell Finale is trying to tie up loose ends and trying to quickly like give conclusions to certain plot points that are addressed like in earlier episodes. It always feels like they're conveniently trying to say, hey, let's bookend these things, but it never feels genuine. It feels like they are just trying to say, hey, you know, we addressed it. Can we move on now? And I don't know. I always don't like that. Like, if you're not going to fulfill the story in its entirety in a fulfilling way, then don't even do it. Okay, just focus on like 3 things that really matter to the full story. So I know it's hard when you are trying to readapt something, and I know I'm talking over a lot of the episode right now, but it's really hard to kind of balance that, and it's a challenge. And I get you want to appease the fans, but I think you should just disappoint the fans just a little bit and give them something new that they weren't expecting. So that's it. That's all I'll say. Whoa, I feel like I'm in Doctor Who.
You can do it, alright? Go me, go me.
I'll say that child actor, not the strongest. Also, my heater just turned on, so let me go turn that off. No hate to the child actor. I just not the strongest. It's not the strongest. That was one part of that episode that I was like, but I don't want to judge it too strong. It's hard. It's hard to act. Period. Imagine being a kid trying to do it. It's a 1 in a million.
Once we get him back, we can help you track your shit down. All of it. We'll figure it out. Together.
I hope this isn't something that they were setting up for season 2. This space stuff is so fun, and the sound design, I really like it.
Then you're gonna need this.
Don't move!
Put the gun down. Hell, we thought you were dead.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
I'm actually forgetting how episode 8 ended. So, did it get his ass whooped? I don't know. You don't have to answer that. I'll figure it out later.
Hurting me.
Hey, whatever happened to that unkillable super assassin?
That's cute.
Yeah, I killed him.
Oh, nice.
Skimmy.
That's great.
Hey, Bean. Who the fuck are you?
Whoa. That took a
I thought
turn.
we'd move beyond this.
They took her. They didn't call him Spike. They called you Fearless.
Which I take as a compliment.
I'm gonna save him the trouble and kill you myself.
You could. Yeah. You'd be right too.
And honestly, this is the last episode of the season and we're not getting renewed, so honestly it wouldn't make a difference. I'd die either way.
Julia needs you.
Screw Julia, man. Screw Spike a little bit too. They're not good people. No one's good people in this show, except Jet. And Faye. Oh, and Ein, of course. It really feels like they just introduced Jet's daughter just so she could get kidnapped at the end of the season.
It's his life or Kimmy's. That's the play.
Well, that fucked up math doesn't add up. I won't carry that weight.
You're gonna carry that weight. I like how they're all waiting outside. I don't know, it's funny. It's like they're all waiting to get a ride.
Did you ever love fishes?
I thought I did. And then I realized I didn't know what love was. Until it was too late.
Oh, please, honey. No.
Until Fearless.
Don't make me laugh. That is ridiculous. If you watched my last episode, reaction. That's okay. Some stuff is happening right now. I'll shut up. Hey, this is a terrible plan. Why are you killing the driver? This is not the Dark Knight. You are not going to survive that. Ew. I don't like it when they touch kids like that. The way Vicious is caressing that child is illegal. Oh, he's a hologram. Okay. So I take back what I said. So they're actually probably in a completely different location. So that makes sense. Damn, sucks to be those guys though. They were probably like, oh shit, we could have been holograms? Well, they're dead. So they don't have any opinion. Ooh, gross. I feel like this character in the car is supposed to be, I'm forgetting the character from the anime, but it's like one of Spike's friends when he was in the Syndicate. And that friend also had a twin brother in the Syndicate. I feel like this character is supposed to be an ally, much like that character was in the original anime. If that's the case, it came out of nowhere, and also just kind of random that it just happened because of this brief conversation between Julia and this character. But whatever gets this show wrapped up, I guess. I just think none of them should have survived. But you know what? That's fine. I think it would have been a smarter play if she just held a gun to the driver. Oh, yeah, of course, it's got to blow up. And yeah, if she just had the gun up to the driver, they could have got to from point A to point B without a scratch.
We've seen worse.
Have we?
I mean, maybe Spike has seen worse, but for Jet, I mean, getting your daughter taken, that's probably the worst thing that could happen, so.
I gave you a space in my family's crib. Did you know that? I used to come down here after you betrayed me to mourn what I'd lost.
That is dark, but also very thoughtful. It's very cute, but also very, very emo. Hey, I got you a Christmas present. Got you a plot next to my great-grandfather.
You said you wouldn't hurt her.
I won't. I'll kill her.
God damn you piece of shit!
Oh, ow.
Ever since I learned you were alive, all I could think about was putting you in that empty hole. You should have just died that night. Or you should have killed yourself for what you did. Look at me!
They have a very romantic, homoerotic relationship, I feel like. I mean, the man wanted to get buried.
You were supposed to love me! I was supposed to end you.
Ah, that's very... Yeah. Come on, guys.
You're gonna what?
Love that sound effect.
I wanna go home.
Okay, it's gonna be okay.
Y'all don't need that many guns. Come on. Oh, is this Faye? Oh, cool. But how's she see? Oh, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Very dangerous, but fun. What the hell is this Fiddler on the Roof music?
Welcome to the ass, motherfuckers!
Hey, say what you will, man. Because I know people still have a problem with Faye, but she kind of grew on me. Okay? Also, this is a visually very good-looking scene. I mean, look at the CG on that ship. It's so good. Looks great. I found out that this show is actually very expensive, so I don't know where a lot of the budget went for the series, but sometimes, occasionally, I see it peek its head, and I'm like, oh, there it is. That's where the money went in. This is one of those moments. He get shot? Oh, his leg. God damn it. The memory of a goldfish, I swear. Ooh. That should have gone right through his shoulder, right into her head. I don't know how bullets work, but that seemed like it might have gone right through him, right? Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever shot someone and it went right through them at that distance.
But I couldn't get good on you knuckle dusters dying a dipshit death.
She kind of talks like Juno. You remember Juno? That movie that Elliot Page was in? Michael Cera? I don't have to remind you what Juno is. Come on. Oh, I love this score. I'm glad they brought it back. I think this is a different singer. I know Yoko Kanno probably redid the original score or soundtrack, so I assume this is it, but maybe I'm wrong. Bye-bye, Rock Lee! God damn, what is this, Final Fantasy? Gun versus a sword, come on. Is he gonna use those as weapons? No way. This music reminds me of Naruto. All right, let's go. I'm all in, guys. If I've been talking too much, I'm sorry, but this is pretty exciting. Visually, I think this looks really great. Oh, there we go. There's the thumbnail. John is selling that pain. Great performance. Now you flip that shit like an egg at Denny's. You take too long, buddy.
Julie. It's true.
But I got a feeling she's about to shoot him. I'm getting bad vibes.
We can be free of all of this. Him, the syndicate. We can...
Why would I want to be free of it? Right at the moment when I've captured the throne.
Oh, please.
With the elders dead and the capo's gone, all that's in the way of controlling the syndicate is him.
Since when did this character have ambition?
Finish the jackal. Carry his head on a pike to the temple.
What the hell is this? No, you're crazy now. You guys hooked up once! You guys hooked up once!
I don't want it anymore.
What about what I want? I am done being scared.
This isn't you.
You made me who I am.
What? The hell are you talking about? He didn't make you shit. You guys slept together one time and he made you laugh and you danced. But like, whew, come on, you guys really peaked back then. Jesus.
You were nothing more than a dream I needed to wake up from.
Hey, that's my line. Okay. You guys can only flash back to one night because that's all you guys had. Come on. Come on. I'm assuming he's still alive because I think they had plans to do another season. Obviously couldn't do it. Nice going, Jet. Getting your daughter kidnapped. It's not the guy's fault. Also, where the hell is Ein? Did they really just drop him off and then that's it? That's the end of that? Like, it's a dog! Just have him, like, playing around in the background or something. Was that dog working on another movie? I don't understand. It's not like Corky's or in short supply. In short supply. You just borrow the Queen's or whatever. She has, like, what, 19 Corgis?
I know you're going through a lot of shit right now. I have a chance to find out who I am.
You should do that. You need to do that.
I wonder if that's how they meet Ein. Or not Ein, God. Ed. Because Ed was at the same orphanage that Faye used to be in. But it doesn't seem like they're doing the orphanage storyline in this one. So, we'll see. Oh, that's a great shot. That's beautiful. I like a lot of moments. And visually, there's some moments in this show I'm like, there it is. Like, that looks like the future. That looks like world building. Some moments I'm like, no. Just looks like a set. That was great. It looks like he's being held hostage by Freddy Krueger. It's a boiler room. No, not Vicious. I like Vicious. He's fun.
We'll try again tomorrow.
That's kind of fun. It's a nice little callback to episode 1 or 2. Like this twist. This twist would work better if it were set up better, but it just wasn't. And yeah, that's it. That's all I'll say for now. How did you survive that fall, man?
The only reason you're still alive is you helped save Kimmy.
Faye did more. Faye did the real saving, to be very honest. I think you could have done it without Spike. He's gonna need a robot leg for that one. You're gonna have a matching set. Okay, it's not over. Wouldn't Julia check for a body and like still be kind of hunting him? I don't know. And whatever. Doesn't matter. Been there. His face is probably in so much urine.
Spike! Spike Spiegel!
Oh.
No.
This is Ed.
Spike Spiegel. Not anymore.
Huh.
Yes, you are. You're Spike! Cowboy! Bounty hunter for hire! And ooh, danger!
Too well.
Hey, wait. It's Ein. Hey, cool.
Bad things.
It's like a fever dream for him, probably. Okay. Alright. Oh, a reminder, I gotta watch Witcher Season 2. Okay, so, this isn't just gonna be my thoughts on this episode. I mean, I'll talk about this episode specifically for the purpose of, you know, this is a reaction to the episode. That's what it'll be. But I also just want to talk about the series as a whole, because the series is over, officially canceled. And, you know, I'm a little bit sad, but I'm also kind of a little bit relieved. Just because I don't... like... Okay, first, let me get into my thoughts about the episode. So, Julia becomes sort of the antagonist set up for Season 2. And we find out that she was a lot more ambitious than she let on to be. And she was always pining for the crown. Or for the throne, I guess. Like, she wants to be head of the syndicate. Sure, that's something. That's it. That's something. Yeah, I know I wanted to give Julia a little bit more agency in the show, but for me, she just came off as very timid, and maybe that's a good build-up. I think they were trying to make her more of a Daenerys, kind of like Game of Thrones, and sort of start her off as someone who is very timid, very humble, and then build her up as someone who becomes this queen, someone who's a very imposing presence who leads all these armies. I for one always felt that Emilia Clarke did look a little bit too childish for being the queen, but at the same time she had the presence in certain moments, and she also had the power, and she had command over the dragon. So those were things that made me believe that people were fearful of her. Now Julia in this instance, or in this show, feels like something where they didn't have enough time to really flesh out that story. This would be a lot more interesting if they did pull this over a couple of seasons and kind of really extended that, but the arc of Emilia Clarke as Daenerys was extended throughout many episodes, and you got a lot of play with those characters, and you got a lot of reason to kind of follow her because she was someone who was benevolent. She was a very good leader, and she saved people, she saved slaves, and she changed their lives entirely, and you had a reason to believe why this person was so inspirational and why, you know, their fall inevitably happens. So it's kind of weird that we're seeing that same trajectory over 10 episodes with Julia when we barely got any screen time with her character, and the setup and buildup of her character really happens in the last 3 or 4 episodes. So it was very odd to see this abrupt change in her character and to see her have these weird ambitions that were never really addressed earlier on, with Vicious being her captee, that's the word I'm looking for. It's definitely a cool setup for the next season to see him still around, because I really like that actor. I like Alex Hassell as Vicious, or at least this version of Vicious. I see it as like a multiverse. This is just one version of that character. There are multiple versions of your beloved character that you can kind of adore, and you can always have one favorite. That's great. If you have multiple versions or readaptations or remakes, then just think of it as a multiverse situation where you still get the same character that you had from the original. Now this is just a different version of that. That being said, I like that this Vicious actor really did put 100% into it. I did feel like he hammed it up, but I think he knew what kind of show he was in. I mean, you watch this show and there's no point in it where you're like, okay, the drama right here, right next to Breaking Bad, right next to Game of Thrones. No, they don't think it's on that level. They kind of understand that the world that they're in is cartoonish. It's based off of an anime. So there are some things that are elevated and sort of built up to be a little bit over the top. And I think I like that in certain scenarios and certain cases throughout the show. But for the most part, it didn't all quite work. It didn't all quite blend. I felt like the tones would shift on a dime. And while there are certain directors that can do that, I really felt like the director didn't really have that command or presence over this entire show. I know that there was some consistency visually throughout the show, and I really did feel like the show at any point you could jump into an episode and you could be like, okay, yeah, that's very similar to the other episodes. But there are some episodes that are stronger, and that's what happens with any other season of any other television show. There are going to be different directors. There's going to be one consistent showrunner, but there's going to be different directors for different episodes. And I think that's kind of my issue with some of the other shows I've been recently watching, like Hawkeye, where there are some episodes that are huge standouts. And if they don't nail, you know, certain episodes, or especially if they don't nail the finale, then it kind of brings the show down a little bit. It doesn't mean those episodes aren't strong. They still are, but it's just like you wish that there was still some sort of consistency in style throughout it. So yeah, visually there are some things that tie all the episodes together, but I think if this had just one director doing all the episodes, and they had like a consistent style going throughout, maybe the show would be stronger. But I really don't know what they could have done to really fix the show other than just start from scratch. Maybe stay with the same cast, keep Jet, keep Mustafa Shakir as Jet, keep John Cho, keep Daniella Pineda as Faye, despite what some people might say. I don't want to say you people. I mean, keep Ayn, obviously, because it's a dog, and I'm glad that Ayn's back. Anyways, sorry, I'm very scatterbrained right now, but what I'm trying to say is there are some key elements in the show that I feel like could stay, but I really feel like they had to start from scratch, or at least understand that they have 10 episodes to tell the story. So don't do what I feel like a lot of the past episodes were doing, which is cramming a bunch of plot lines from the original anime into one episode. It makes it very distracting, it makes it very muddled. And while the beginning of the series from the first episode started off pretty strong for me, at least it impressed me for what I thought was going to be a complete disaster, and for setting the bar so low, I thought it was pretty fun. And then throughout the episodes, I had to kind of grow into Faye as a character. I remember I dismissed Faye and Vicious entirely, but then over the course of the show, they became one of the reasons why I liked tuning back in, because I think Daniella Pineda really entertaining in the role. I don't think any of these actors are bad actors by any means. I just think that some of them are miscast. And I think the biggest one for me is Julia. I think she's an excellent actress. I think she could do well. Maybe even in some alternate universe she was supposed to play Faye, and I could totally believe that. But for me, she doesn't really come off as Julia. And Julia in the original anime isn't that big of a deal for me. Like, I was never like, oh, Julia is such a cool, compelling character. Sure, she was cool. Like in the second to last episode, yeah, Julia's kind of a badass, and you kind of get this idea that she is a lot more than what meets the eye. And that's all you really need to know about that character to kind of understand why Spike fell in love with her, because she's someone who matches Spike's cool. In this one, I don't really get that. I kind of get more Valley Girl vibes, which is not a hate on that character or the way that she tried it. I just don't think it was right for the show. While Elena Satine, or Elena Satine, you guys go ahead and correct me down below. While she, like, the silhouette of her looks like Juliet, or Julia. Jeez, what am I talking about? Looks like Julia. It doesn't really come off as Julia. And I don't want it to be one-to-one with the anime, but the direction that they took with her in this doesn't feel earned. Either way, you're damned if you do it or damned if you don't. If you try to be like Julia, and everyone's gonna be like, this character's undercooked, because you can't really get someone that just matches Spike's cool in the show in like the last episode or the last couple episodes and not have an audience be like, who the hell is this? The reason why I'm saying that is because this show is setting up for a second season, while the other show, for the last couple episodes, that's Spike's conclusion. That's where his story ends. And so the reason why she's brought up back at the end is because throughout the 26 episode run, Julia is kind of like this haunting image of his past and sort of the reason why he left the syndicate. And it's something that we see throughout the series, but it's never really addressed or never really tied into the plot until, like, you know, moments here and there where her name is mentioned. But in this, she is sort of a character that interweaves throughout the show, but not enough to where she feels like she's important until right at the very end. Yeah, like I'm gonna keep saying, it just feels very unearned. It just felt like the writers in the writing room for the final episode were like, what can we do with this character? I don't know, she wants the throne. Okay, like, I know she was plotting against Vicious and all those things were kind of there to be like, okay, she might have some ambition, but like, it just felt like she went complete batshit crazy in the last episode. It was very strange. I still don't buy, like, why would I? Because this was just jumping from the last episode where I really don't like the fact that Spike and Julia are a thing. Like, the reason it happens is it's not cool, dude. It's not cool how they hooked up, and it's not cool how they are so attached to this one night that they had with each other. Sure, maybe there's implications that they slept together more, but really that's like, what, maybe 3 times at most? I mean, maybe they won a couple rounds during that night, so like, I don't know, maybe they are counting each significant time that someone nutted. I don't know, it doesn't matter, because at most it was a span of a week that they had this fling. And that is not enough for what they are trying to do in the last episode. Like, she's like, let's take over the entire syndicate together. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Can you imagine? Can you imagine doing that? Sleeping with your best friend's girl and then saying, hey, let's become president and first whatever together. Like, it doesn't, it's crazy to me. I don't know. I just think that they were trying to do something different. And while they did, it didn't really make any sense because things weren't set up properly. And for the entire show, I enjoyed moments throughout. I mean, I can keep talking about the cast and how much I really did enjoy their portrayals of the characters, but that's not really enough for me to be like, this is a show that really deserves a second season. I'm still firm in my belief after watching the entire show that, yeah, it had its run, but it just wasn't good enough to be picked up for another season. And even if they did like a lot of damage control in the second season to kind of build out and flesh out these plots that are kind of left open at the end of this episode, it would be more of like cleanup than anything else. And I don't want to watch a whole season that is kind of dedicated to trying to improve on the things that they lacked in the first season. And to be very honest, I'm hearing from other reviewers the same thing, which is I think that this being tied to a very popular IP is really its downfall. And that's the reason why people didn't really want to watch this or abandoned it in the first place. And it makes sense, you know, they want something that looks like an adaptation of what they loved in the original. And this is never going to be that. This is always going to be some different beast. And because of that, I applaud them for trying, but for me, it just didn't work out. Okay, for the reasons that I comment on in each of my episode reactions, it just wasn't good enough for me to be like, ah man, I'm so hurt they're not doing it again. Yes, I am sad that the actors don't get to replay these characters that they seem to have liked a lot based on things that they've said on Twitter or on Instagram, but I'm like, these guys are great actors and I'm sure they'll find work after this, and I hope they do, because they were the best part of the show. Within this episode, I really did enjoy Faye coming to the rescue. I really enjoyed the look of that final scene. I like the cathedral. I love that setting in the original. I love that they adapted it well in this one. I still hate the Dutch angles. I really don't see any point in them, but I really did think visually that it was sort of a treat, and I really liked that for the most part, the choreography between Vicious and Spike was pretty well done, even though it was obscured by, like, I don't know what that was, but there was like a partition or something that was blocking half of the fight choreography, which I didn't like that, and the cuts around and things like that like kind of ruined the momentum. Same issues I've had with the show so far. The action can be lackluster, but I always see potential. I'm just like, just shoot it differently. Give the choreography its day in the light and just shoot it well. Okay, like you would be doing yourself so many more favors if you just shot it without trying to do weird different angles and cutting so much to add like this momentum that really just diffuses any of the electricity in the fight. Yeah, you've heard me repeat myself, so I'm not going to go over that again. I guess this leads into the last thing I will talk about for this episode, which is of course the most controversial thing for some reason to most people, is the brief moment that we get to see Ed. Now, I think there was an article or something, or an interview, which confirmed that Ed was non-binary or something like that, which, who cares? Guys, who cares what they are? Who cares what sexuality they are? Ed was always some just strange character that you could not predict. Ed is just, who knows? Ed's just fun, okay? Ed's just a fun character. The performance of Ed was one that I was like, I don't think they're ever going to be able to translate it to live action, and them attempting to do it is just bold and brave on its own, because Ed is a character you cannot really adapt. That is a character that is really the most anime kind of character out of the entire cast in the original. Ed is a character that seems like they were plucked out of a different anime and put into Cowboy Bebop in the original. In the Bebop crew, everyone is sort of steeped in some sort of realism, and then Ed comes out like they just came out of like an abstract painting. Ed is someone where not even on our spectrum can we understand this character, and that's sort of the point of that character, is that the character's intelligence is beyond ours. They know things that we don't, and that's what kind of keeps that character intriguing. And they're also very sweet, and they're very childlike. So Ed was always kind of a character that I never thought they would try to adapt, but I'm glad that they tried. I want to say this in a way that's respectful to the actor or actress that was playing Ed. I just want to say that I am so sorry, first and foremost, for all of the hate comments. Like, if you are one of the people that were shitting on a child's performance and sending them hate comments or even death threats, I don't know if it went that far, but if you're one of those people, don't do that. Don't do that. It's a kid. It's a kid. Do you go up to babies when you're at the mall or something and just shout in their face? If you do, go seek some help. But also, stop doing that. Like, what is wrong with you, okay? Don't do that. But anyways, I don't think the performance worked for me personally, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to let them know I didn't like it. I'm sure that they're a great actor, but given the role that they were given and the big shoes you have to fill in terms of translating a character that almost seemed too outlandish for the anime itself and trying to adapt that into live action, taking that role on, it's very brave, okay? It's like braver than trying to be Harry Potter. Can you imagine the weight of expectation on a child's shoulders for portraying a character that's so beloved like that? And then having half the world, you would feel like half the world, telling you that you suck and that you're not good? Like, that's awful, okay? No hate to the actor. It didn't work for me, but that's the thing. It never really felt like it would have worked for me. And I never really felt that that character in my opinion, was not my favorite character of the Bebop. I liked the character, I thought it was fun, but in my head I was like, this is a cartoon within a cartoon. It's a hat on a hat. Like, for me, that's kind of how I saw Ed. Ed is just this anomaly, and trying to portray that into live action is an impossible task, and I never expected them to nail it, and I don't think they did. But you know what? I give them kudos for trying. I believe the actor's name is Eden Perkins, and I just want to apologize on behalf of the internet and say you don't deserve what they're saying. So yeah, that's it. I think they're like 13 or 14 years old. If I were at that age and thousands upon thousands of people were telling me that I was bad at something that I was really passionate about, I would lose my mind. I would be a puddle of tears for every day of my life from that point forward. And the fact that this person is taking it on and, you know, ignoring the comments and being more mature than I would be, I just applaud you. That's great, and I really hope that this person's life isn't affected negatively because of this. Kudos to Eden Perkins for taking on that role. Very, very, very difficult role to nail. Like, I don't even think a young Cate Blanchett could have done it. But you know what? The show's over. Okay, so there's that. But maybe in a second season we would have seen Ed. We would have got to see a different side of Ed. I could be wrong. The whole audience could be wrong, you know? We all could have had wrong assumptions about how this character would be played out. So there's that. There's the unknowing of a second season that we can all kind of linger on and ponder, like what could have been. That's it for at least this episode, and you guys kind of know my thoughts overall of the season. I kind of trickled them in this very scatterbrained reaction and review. But yeah, what did you guys think of the show overall? I'll just give a brief summary of my thoughts. I thought the show was fine, but it's definitely not one of my favorite shows of this year. It's probably closer to the bottom of the list. It was fun to interact with you guys in the comments down below and hear what your guys' thoughts were. That was probably the best part. And that's what I really look forward to, is that discourse and that conversation between you guys and understanding your perspectives on it. That was awesome. But the show itself, I would really have to push myself sometimes to get to the next episode, and that's my honest opinion. I think the actors were great. I thought there were some moments briefly where the CG looked incredible, and there were some moments where I was just like, wow, I wish it took more, you know, place in space. You know what I mean? I really feel like there was just some space battle, some kind of blending of the futuristic aspects and also, you know, the 1960s and 1950s aesthetic that they could have done, and they just didn't do it. And there were a lot of things plaguing this production, like John Cho's injury and the fact that, you know, COVID exists. Those things were plaguing the production of the show, and same as No Way Home as well. And you can kind of see those little holes within both No Way Home and in this, so I don't want to discredit it for that. It wasn't their fault, but I really feel like they didn't really have a chance to get above the water for this second season, and that's how I feel. And I don't think that this show is good enough to warrant a second season, but I do understand that there were parts in it where I was like, I really wish maybe if it were more like these brief moments of brilliance, if it was more like that, then yes, this show would full-heartedly deserve a second season, but it just didn't. It was just cut short of that. So that's kind of how I feel about it in a very broad way, and I'm really curious to see what you guys have to think about it, and what do you guys think about the final episode. What do you guys think about, I mean, I want to ask, but please be kind in the comments down below, or please just be aware that we're talking about a child actor. Down in the comments down below, let me know what you thought of Ed. Also, let me know what you thought of the Julia twist, and let me know what you would think would happen in the second season of Cowboy Bebop Netflix if it were to happen, or if it were to happen on a different streaming service. Which streaming service do you think it would belong on? So let me know all those thoughts down below. I would love to hear it, guys. I'm so thankful for you guys joining me for the final episode reaction and commentary and review of Cowboy Bebop. It's been a long journey. It feels like it's been years that I've been doing this, but it's been like a few weeks. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys have a happy holidays, and I hope you guys have a happy new year too, if I don't see you before then. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Hope you are happy. I hope that you guys are all staying safe right now. Hope that you're not about to get snowed in like we are over here in Washington. And yeah, that's it, guys. Love you. Appreciate you all, and you all. Of course, I had to mess that up. Appreciate you all, and as always, guys, I will see you later.